Yesterday we just talked about an older sister, and now we are so back with the new variant of yangyang, which is XUANLING. Some say that she really needs the presence of the potential girl in the team, but is that true? Don't go anywhere because today we are going to talk about her full kit, resonance chain, signature, and also team synergies. Now that Lucilla and the collab banners are here and the main drip characters has been announced, I want to quickly talk about a website that offers tons of discounts that I have been using for game top ups lately, and that's Cards. If you are planning to top up for Wuthering Waves, Cards is currently offering some amazing deals. New users can get up to 40% off their first purchase, while returning users can still save starting from 7% off regular orders. You can save up to $101 on your first top up, enjoy fast and reliable delivery, and instantly claim extra homepage coupons, including up to 7% off larger purchases. If you purchase 6000 plus 1600 Lunites package or the all-in-one bundle, you will receive a free monthly card plus additional high-value coupons with no minimum spending required. They also have exclusive homepage coupons available. You can instantly claim all available discounts with a single click, including extra 7% off orders over $145 and extra 5% off orders over $29. These discounts are applied directly during checkout. On top of that, Cards is running a summer event shop where you can manually collect additional discount coupons worth up to 10 to 15% off. Secure your favorite characters with Cards now. So yangyang XUANLING, let's just call her XUANLING now, is a limited 5-star Havoc Sword character. From her combat role, we know that she's definitely a main DPS. Of course, since negative status is popular now, she mainly revolves around that, specifically in Havoc Bane. Most of her damage also be counted as heavy attack damage. And then finally, her last attack is Traction, as she is somehow capable of gathering a crowd enemy in one place, somewhere in her abilities. Let's start with XUANLING's core gameplay because her kit can look a little bit confusing at first. The first thing you need to know is that XUANLING has two different combat stances, Azure Sword and Feather Sword. Both stances work very similarly. By pressing or holding the normal attack button, she consumes a resource called Melody, or her forte, to perform a sequence of 4 attacks. The fourth hit applies 1 stack of Havoc Bane to the enemy. As long as this Melody has not been fully depleted, these attacks also gain additional 20% energy regen. The main difference between the two stances is that Feather Sword simply has higher damage multipliers, making it the more offensive version of her kit. To switch between these stances, you use her resonance skill. Casting it deals Havoc damage and immediately swaps XUANLING between Azure and Feather. After performing attacks in one stance, you can also use the resonance skill to trigger a special stance switching attack. These attacks deal Havoc damage, count as heavy attack damage, and briefly activate automatic dodge effect. If that auto dodge is triggered, it consumes 50 Melody, or her forte. Now let's talk about her forte circuit because this is where most of her gameplay comes from. So XUANLING basically has 2 sword mode, right? Azure and Feather. Whenever Melody or her forte is completely depleted, XUANLING unlocks a special or enhanced resonance skill depending on her current stance. If she is in Azure mode, she gains access to Azure Flow, and if she is in Feather mode, she gains Feather Flow. Both attacks restore 100 Melody, grant 1 Azure Plum, and count as heavy attack damage. When these attacks hit enemy, they consume 1 stack of Havoc Bane and grant a special buff depending on which mode she is currently in. If in Azure, her heavy attack gains 100% crit damage, but while in Feather mode, her basic, mid-air, and heavy attack gains 100% crit damage. The buff for both modes only lasts for 15 seconds. However, it can only be triggered once every 25 seconds, and I don't think they share the same cooldown. Speaking of heavy attacks, both stances have access to powerful heavy attacks that let XUANLING to unleash a powerful Cyclone, dealing Havoc damage that is considered as heavy attack and immediately apply 2 stacks of Havoc Bane. These heavy attacks are a major part of XUANLING's damage output and can only be used when you have maximum number of Azure Plums, which can only be obtainable once you cast Enhanced Resonance skill that is only available once you successfully deplete all of her Melody forte. Another important mechanic is Feathered Oath. Every time anyone in the team applies Havoc Bane, XUANLING gains 1 Feathered Oath stack. She can gain 1 stack per second and hold up to 6 stacks at a time. Each stack increases the critical damage of several key attacks. Since each attack provides 30% critical damage, reaching 6 stacks gives massive 180% critical damage bonus. And that's not even her inherent skill, because her first talent further rewards stacking Havoc Bane. For every Havoc Bane stack on an enemy, XUANLING gains additional damage. The first 3 stacks provide 10% damage each, while stacks 4 through 6 provide 12% each. At maximum stacks, there's a total damage increase of 66%. So I think it's not exactly the same, but pretty similar to Cartridge's passive, I believe. Her second inherent skill introduced another mechanic called Windbound. Whenever any teammate applies Havoc Bane, XUANLING gains 1 Windbound stack. Once she reaches 6 stacks, she enters a special state. While in this state, using any enhanced resonance skill from both modes summons a Shadow XUANLING. This summon attacks nearby enemies and instantly applies 6 stacks of Havoc Bane, making it incredibly valuable for maintaining her entire kit. Moving on to her ultimate, XUANLING consumes all remaining Melody or her forte to unleash a powerful Havoc attack. It also restores 1 Azure Plume and count as heavy attack damage. The ultimate can trigger additional summon attack for extra damage, although unlike Shadow XUANLING, this summon does not apply Havoc Bane stacks. Her intro skill is very straightforward. When entering the battlefield, she deals Havoc damage, applies 1 stack of Havoc Bane, and automatically switches her current stance. Finally, her outro skill provides support for Havoc teams. After leaving the field, she deals Havoc damage and grants allies a 20% Havoc damage amplification for 20 seconds whenever they inflict Havoc Bane. So I think her gameplay goal here is to collect maximum number of Azure Plume. So for example, in Azure mode, you basically need to drain all of your forte, use Enhanced Resonance skill to consume Havoc Bane and gain 1 plume, and then switch to the other mode and do the same. After you gain that 2 plumes, you finish off with her heavy attacks, which is portrayed by casting a Cyclone. At least that's what the description said. But it seems like they did not mention what's the maximum number of her plume stacks. If it's only 2, then it's a good thing, because you have plenty of access to get it. For example, from her intro and liberation. But if the max number is 4, then you really need her ultimate at every rotation. So that's why I think the 20% energy regen from her attacks makes sense now. It helps to ensure consistent ultimate activation for every rotation. Now let's talk about her vertical investment, starting with her resonance chain. The first one, after her enhanced skill in both modes hits enemies, she summons her clone that will deal a portion of her attack. And for the rest, she gains immunity when casting heavy attacks in both modes. As for the second one, some of her abilities get increased multiplier by 50%, and when she's out of combat for more than 4 seconds, her clone will be summoned through her basic attack to deal damage. And this will also grant her 2 plumes, and resets the CD of both of her enhanced resonance skill. Her third one will increase her liberation multiplier, and using intro or enhanced resonance skill will now increase the max stacks of Havoc Bane. On top of that, she gains easier access to inflict Havoc Bane in some of her attacks. The fourth RC is basically lets her buff the other team in the form of 20% attack. The fifth one won't let her to be knocked down once she takes a fatal blow. And finally, her last resonance chain, her heavy attack will deal more damage once she applies Havoc Bane, and then after casting enhanced resonance skill, anything that inflict or apply any type of negative status will let her summon her clone, and this clone damage is guaranteed to crit. And now let's move on to her signature weapon. This weapon has main stat of 24% crit rate and will give you 588 attack. For its passive, it will grant 12% all attribute damage bonus to the wielder, and when Havoc Bane is applied, the user heavy attack damage is amplified by 36% and also ignore 12% of the enemy's defense for 8 seconds. I don't know if this weapon could be universal or not. The description said when the Havoc Bane applied, not the user that will inflict it. So I guess any Havoc Bane stack from another ally could trigger this passive. So when it comes to her signature or first resonance chain, I think the better option would be her weapon. It has a nice crit rate and some juicy heavy attack amplification, topped with defense ignore. So her S1 could be nice addition to her overall damage contribution, but I think its main purpose here is the KOL of her heavy attack usage. We definitely need more in-game testing to see if it's that easy to be interrupted, so just in case XUANLING's main problem here is the interruption to her burst damage, then her S1 is really nice upgrade. But as for now, I think her weapon should be prioritized first. So when it comes to character synergies, I think it's definitely clear who is going to be her premium team in the future, and that will include Chisa and her sister, SUYSUY. XUANLING needs someone that can also apply Havoc Bane to activate one of her passives, so that she could gain that 180% crit damage to some of her attacks and 66% damage amplification. With Chisa, that's pretty achievable. But the reason why Chisa is very important for XUANLING is because she breaks the Havoc Bane limit. Only her. And if you look at SUYSUY's outro once again, she does not increase the stack limit. So without Chisa, I think XUANLING loses out a lot of numbers, since you can only gain 3 at most. Anyway, SUYSUY here will give the entire party 25% damage amp, increase in damage dealt, and also a juicy 50% attack. So if she's the sustain, you want her outro to go to XUANLING, since both of the damage and attack boosts only activate to the incoming resonator, not team-wide. And XUANLING is capable to consume NS stacks, so there will be no problem. But overall, the presence of 2 healers in this team seems a bit awkward. You can technically use Chisa for other NS teams, especially after knowing that she only has 1 energy in the matrix. But I think some other alternative could also work well, by using only 1 healer. For example, using Frolova as the sub DPS. Don't forget that her outro can amplify heavy attack and havoc, in which both are really appreciated by XUANLING. XUANLING could still get fully benefit from her inherent skill because you still use Chisa here. And then moving on from Havoc, Yuno could be good alternative as well, since we want that heavy attack amp and from her outro. Her personal damage is also something that should not be underestimated and can at least contribute much to the team's damage output. And the last one is the F2P team, that can include Mortifi or Rebecca as the heavy attack support, and Farina that can provide team-wide damage amp and is very easy to run a smooth rotation. But I think the difference between Rebecca and Mortifi using static mist is not that significant unless you happen to have her signature. This team could work, but XUANLING definitely loses a lot of damage. So when talk about her team, I think it's safe to assume that she is more dependent on Chisa rather than her own sister. I could be wrong, but at least that's what the kit description said. So I guess that's all yangyang XUANLING kit breakdown. So far, what are your thoughts on this character? Are you willing to pull her despite all the future changes? Or she is a huge skip? Please comment down below. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. Turn on notification as well so you won't be missing out on any of my Wuthering Waves content. I will see you guys on my next one. Bye bye!